right, happy Monday, everybody. Joining us here for MLS Monday, Joanne and I today to talk about Agent 3000 and some of the tools available to you and how you can use them in your business. So, So we're going to go through and look at Agent 3000. We're going to share our screen here. And so Agent 3000 has been a technology we provided to our members for quite some time. If you go to the dashboard here, you'll see it on the tile. And again, on this dashboard, you can put favorites on the top. So things that you're accessing a lot of, you can actually go to the top of this and look at what, what tiles you want to put in your favorites on your dashboard. So this is what you're going to see when you log in. This is the simple dashboard. This is Joanna's profile that we use. So the first thing you see is the information with regards to active listings and solds by zip code with average price and volume. Agent 3000 does get a live data feed out of our MLS. So this information is funneled right out of what we have into this portal, okay? On the left here, you're going to see the buyer registration. So this was put in probably a couple of weeks ago, was approved by the board. So go up to the first buyer registration piece. So this is kind of a cool deal. You can actually log in here. And if you do have a buyer and you got a signed written agreement, which is now the rule, you can go in here and register your buyer. There is value to this, and I'll speak to a couple of the value propositions of doing this. One is, if you're dealing with a lot of buyers and you don't know if you signed something and you're turning it into your compliance person or your broker at your office, this way for you to keep track of who you got agreements with, okay? It also will keep track of when these agreements actually expired. On the bottom here, this drop down that says allow to be searchable, yes or no. This is for other people, other members of RPCRA and Florida Gulf Coast to search this database for buyers that you may register. So if Joanna is my buyer and I register her and I make it searchable and she comes into an open house and says, are you working with somebody? She says, yes. By phone number or email only, here they can pull up who that person is. So go ahead and put your phone number in and let's pull you up. So she comes to my open house and says, yeah, I'm working with somebody. Here's my phone number. It does say you have an active exclusive with Joanna Rao, working with Joanna Rao. She's working with herself, but the agent's name will be there, but that's all they see. So
it wouldn't give them any additional information that they wouldn't already obtain from the customer. And it's really not just for people who are saying, yes, I'm working with somebody. It's to kind of help you figure out if somebody is lying about not having a buyer broker agreement, being able to check and see that they don't have one registered in the system.
Right. Yeah. And to your point, it's nothing more than what you get from the customer themselves. So go to my registrations. This is the other cool part of this. So this has got all the registrations I've got in my database. So if you're working with a lot of buyers and a lot of buyer volume, and I know a lot of agents I speak to, they'll deal with 30, 40, 50 buyers at a time, not know, if they have somebody that they've actually registered. Did I meet with them yet? They try to keep the best they can. I know when I was in the industry, it was sometimes very difficult, and I would have dry erase boards, people's names and where they were in the process. This kind of keeps you pretty tight on the registration and the buyer broker agreement, okay, from that perspective. So
can you talk to the piece for the brokers? Because I think we have some brokers on the call and how that's going to help. Brokerage.
Yeah, so the back end of this is the broker. If you got an office, you're the broker of record or the managing broker or the owner broker, you will see all the registrations. And one of the enhancements that we actually saw this morning was, as the broker, I can go through there and look and see if my agents are registering people. So if I know Joanna's had 3 sales since August 17th, and I go in here and I see no registration, and again, as the broker, I can mandate this in my office. I don't see the registration, I can ask the question. Also, it'll have a click down for brokers to be able to say, did I receive that registration? So Joanna may have registered the customer online, right, within Agent 3000. She may have got the paperwork signed, but it's sitting in a folder in her backpack. So I even physically got it as the broker. So I'll be able to say, Joanna, do you have Mr. and Mrs. Smith's buyer broker agreement? I don't have it. Once I physically get it and I put it in my app files or my dot loop or whatever, then I can mark it as yes. And I can kind of keep compliance on who's got what signed, because the MLS is kind of overseeing this. The brokers are overseeing this. And we just all want to follow the rules so nobody gets any kind of ding. So, but it's pretty powerful. All right. So let's go down a little bit further. So you've got MLS library. So these are MLS documents and videos. They're just pulling stuff that's already in our MLS. The idea is to have one place to go. And if you're already in this tool a lot, you'll see stuff that's there. You got the website. So this is the upgraded feature. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Sean Summers has been a great partner for us for many, many years. But he offers a really good website that is customized. That's an add-on to this. So you got everything from video integration to CRM integration, IDX integration. It's mobile friendly. He does a great job. He's very strong at understanding that. He comes from our industry. So that's the upgraded website if you want to get that, okay, in a CRM.
What we're showing you today, though, is everything that you get for being a member of our association.
Correct. All right, so recorded webinar. So everything that he actually does, he supports. Great phone support and great video support. Again, sometimes none of us like to sit there and watch videos to learn how to do something, right? But you know, sometimes we're forced to. I mean, I just watched a couple YouTube videos this last week to figure something out. None of us like to sit there and figure that out, but at the end, I learned how to do something, right? So.
And if you learn nothing from Jason today, you can come back here and click through these videos.
Exactly. All right. Landing page leads. So this is kind of cool. You got landing pages that you'll have access to, that you'll be able to integrate, and you'll be able to come back and look at your leads here. So if you actually use this to advertise and make money.
We'll hop down to the landing pages.
Yep. All right. So yeah, so this is where you go to landing pages down here. Again, there's a video on how to, but let's call the landing page a name. Let's call it Gateway Properties, we'll call it. And then add contact information. So this is add information to landing page. Yes, you'd want to have your stuff there to be in compliance. Do a map, and then let's see if you see a state. Gateway shows up in there.
I think we would do Fort Myers.
Okay. I know it's not technically a city, but. And then you would have your call to action text. So you know, buy these great properties.
Real creative.
Yeah, very creative there. Send me my free list now. So that's the button that you'll have in there. You'll see it. You can change it to whatever you want. Email address to insert. So she's going to insert her email address here. And then you'll have information for required fields. So you can put on here, and I think the minimum you need is a name and a phone number. Obviously, you could do email, but if you really want somebody to be in there,
you can require address if you're prompting people to do like a CMA or evaluation of their home. This one, we're kind of going for the buyer side of it, but then they have this option if you're going after the sellers.
Yeah, so you may want to do require phone or not require phone. It'll still pop up the box, but it won't be a mandatory. Okay. And then your response text or destination URL, you can send them back to a website, or you can have a text response. Thank you for registering. Here's your list, whatever it may be. And there's the email to the prospect too. So you'll have a return email address and a subject that you'll put on there. Very simple to set up. I mean, it's very, very simple. But the power of a landing page is just that. I mean, you can post this in Facebook or Instagram, and people are going to go to it. People still shop, I think, visually for homes. They look at pictures, they look at videos, you know, text.
And if you're going to share out like a specific community like Gateway, what you can do in this automatic response email that they get is you can get the shareable link from Matrix, right? You would select out your Gateway properties, run a search, click the share link at the bottom and put that link in here so that you really don't have to do anything. They fill out their information, you get a lead so you can follow up, put them in your CRM, but they instantly get those results of properties.
Right. That's a great tip. And then if you're using Facebook Pixels, there's an area for that. Google Analytics, if you're using AdWorks, so you got the codes you can vet there, and then hit submit. So save landing pages database, you go down here, and we'll look at the Gateway one we just did in the bottom there. So this is what it looks like. And here's a cool part about this. And this is pretty, once you understand this, it's pretty powerful coming from a tool you're paying for through dues dollars, but you're not paying any additional to it. It's cool because how many of us sign up for something and we just use our Facebook account,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then from that perspective, you're getting good information, a good lead, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody that you can start now building a relationship and fostering an offline or online relationship with. Or it gives the option of mandatory putting your name, enter your phone number, your email, and saving my free list. So why don't you go ahead and do that in there? But it comes up, this is cool. You copy the URL, you're going to embed the URL into your Facebook ad, using, ChatGPT or some other AI, you'll be able to come up with the right hashtags so that it's found. One of the things I always struggled with when I was doing advertisement like this was coming up with that, what the hashtags would be,
Mm-hmm.
because people do, you may not, and this is where I had to really get out of my own head. People will search by hashtags. My kids search by hashtags. I don't, but that's how people search. So knowing those right hashtags, ChatGPT could help you with that. But you post this in an ad on your Facebook business page, and that's the URL that you're driving them to. This is what they get. And it's a thank you for your request. You'll be shortly, and they'll get that auto email going back to you with that link that Joanna talked about, where they're getting the gateway properties.
So in here, that's the text that we set up, but when they click submit, if you want them redirected instead, you can choose this option. Maybe it goes back to your website if you want to choose where they're going to head to. But
Right.
Everything that we just customized is here. That's your call to action. That's your button. All of these selections that we made here. And like he said, you can fill it in right from Facebook. And now if we go back to our landing page leads, you'll see that that is logged here.
Yeah. So if you click on that, what do you get any information?
It's all in here.
It's on there. Okay. So it's going to tell you their email address. It's going to tell you all their information, phone number, and what URL it came in through, right? So this is a great way. I mean, if you're going to drive buyer leads or whatever else, having a beautiful picture of a house in the ad and having this link, landing pages, or what we used to call squeeze pages, are a great way to get that information. There's a lot of YouTube videos on how to really leverage this in the real estate business. There's a lot of real estate coaches out there that speak to this. That's their favorite thing. And like any other lead, it's a numbers game. Some people are just looking at pretty pictures and want access to a list. And some people are real serious buyers. It is truly a numbers thing. And you can't get frustrated that the 26 leads you captured aren't ready to buy. You just got to keep repeating the cycle and filling your database with potential leads. So, all right, email listing templates. So you have a single property email. These are emails that are sent out.
I think we have some examples already
Yeah.
done, so we don't need to fill it out.
Yeah, so let's go down the examples then.
So you would just basically fill out this information. Any MLS number that you put in here, it'll pull all the information right from MLS. So you don't have to do much. It'll let you select photos. If it's not your property, it will get a disclaimer that will pop up that says, please make sure you have permission before using a property that is not yours. You just click OK. It'll still pull all of that in for you. And some examples down here. This is the email template that it will create for you. So your company logo will go up here at the top. It'll pull in the photo, the basic information, your bio, or sorry, not your bio, the property description, and then your information down here at the bottom. Which is a very simple email to send out. However, you've got multiple ways to be able to send this out. You can get the HTML code here, if you know how to use that. If not, Sean does have a video for that, or you can just simply use the link and send that out as well. And you can also copy the HTML from here, and it'll format your email and send that out. You've got multiple options. So this is for a single property. You can also do emails that are for multiple properties in here, and you would list them out with the MLS numbers. Or you can do an email that has the market snapshot. And I'll show you an example of what the market snapshot one looks like. That's the HTML code again. And what that ends up looking like is this. It shows them an entire list of a market where they can click in, they can view property, and it'll bring them out to those single pages that are in the Agent3000 website. And then they get the hard data down here at the bottom. And then they can go out and explore, view similar properties, and you've got your information here branded at the bottom again. All right, our next one, AI, that's your favorite.
Yes. So again, this allows you to create some listing remarks. And again, you can put your features in. So the way this works is you put your information in here, you put your word count, what language you want it in, and the property type. So you'll do bedrooms, baths, community. If they've got it, they do recommend putting that in. If it's got a pool, backyard, home office, furnishings, etc. And then the bottom, you're actually adding in different features that you may think are additional besides these very basic, right? So you can put in your hot tub, you can put in a spa.
You can see what our last
yeah,
ones were. Makes it easy.
It does. I love cookies, chocolate chip. Then you'll hit submit. I've read this. That's gonna come up on every one of them.
Yeah, that's coming up, just notifying you that it is your job to make sure you go through, you read the description, make sure it doesn't violate any kind of fair housing laws or anything like that.
So this does your description for you. It does a pretty good job. What I would tell you is, again, reread it, not only for like legals, right? But also
Accuracy.
accuracy. I mean, sometimes it looks like we find it with Recipe AI, right? Sometimes we've got wood floor. They may put in here wood floors throughout and it doesn't know, right? But it pretty much has stuff on there. It helps write your description. So you just copy remarks and put it in your confidential comment or your description or confidential comments.
And any of them that you do will save down here. So if you happen to X out of that window, every time you use this, it saves it down there at the bottom for you.
Yep. And this is kind of reverse of that, right? So you can put in here.
Go back and copy one of these.
Yeah, copy one of those. And this is kind of reverse process. So you're gonna put the copy in there. And then do a social media post and then send to Eve. So again, disclaimer. So we're gonna take that and make it into a post.
Shorten it a little bit.
Yeah, and shorten it a little bit, yeah. So.
But you can also, type whatever you want in here and it doesn't have to make sense. Like if you've got kind of pieces of what you think you want to post, you can put in the fragments of sentences that you have and it'll put it into a full thought in here.
Yeah. It does very, very good on that.
Yes.
All right, so on to branded and market here. So this is one of my favorite things because, a lot of people talk about value of a realtor. Why would I use a real estate agent? This gives you branded eBooks, which if you're going to write it yourself, if you're like I am, I've worked on my branded ebook now for 8 years. I'm still not done. This actually is done for you. So you can actually brand it to yourself and provide it to your buyers or your sellers. So this is a seller's guide. And I look at this as a handout. When you go do a listing presentation, you typically have your listing presentation in whatever format it is. Then you have a folder full of things that you should be giving to the seller, which includes a copy of, seller disclosure. In my mind, this should be part of that. But it really sets you up as the expert. And it is something I've talked with the vendor about with regarding to kind of expanding this, because there's a whole business model out there that I've seen at conferences where they do these for you and they charge you a exorbitant amount of money per month to have these at your fingertips. So, but it's a great way to set yourself apart. You got buyer guides, seller guides, first time home buyer guide, etc. So you can put your bio in there so it will print it on the actual deal, print it out, or you can send it as an email. You can download the cover page of it and then put that into a social media post as an image, and then put your social media post around that, linking back to a squeeze page possibly.
Yeah, you got your PDF URL right here, so you can just use the URL, you can embed it and do it multiple ways there.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool tool.
All right, the next piece is worksheets and checklists. There are a lot to choose from here. Again, no need to recreate the wheel. You've got all of your options in here. And really, at the end of the day, whether you're looking for something specific or you're looking for ideas to enhance your packets, there's a lot out here to choose from. So you would simply select what it is that you want to use. So we can use this home buyer questionnaire. Add your photo, add your logo, or you can choose to not use those, create worksheet. And it'll show up down here at the bottom for you. It takes a moment to create it. but you have the same thing. You can download the PDF or you could use the linked URL. And you've got this beautiful worksheet here with your branding at the bottom. Again, that would be your company's URL. But there are a lot of options out here for you to add these into your folders, whether it's for your sellers, for your buyers. You've got the seller pre-listing checklist, and we've got the open house checklist, seller questionnaire, buyer questionnaire, just a lot of stuff out here. It's got simple branding on it, so it really fits everything. And you can see here is the one that we just did, but it'll put your logo and your photo at the bottom so that it's always branded to you.
Okay.
Next is the year-over-year market snapshot video. This is something really simple where you can choose either city, zip code, or county, however you want to break it down. You can choose single family or condo, and then they've got a couple of color options here to choose from. And then you can also choose what audio you want to run in the background. Once you've done that, you click create video. And then you can download the video, or you can simply use this link that'll bring you here. I'm not sure that the audio will come through over Zoom, but they just do have basic background music going. So you can upload this to Instagram, Facebook, you can just link it if you want to, and it's just showing the stats in a moving graph, something that's just going to please the social media algorithm a little bit better than your images. And again, you can change these colors out as needed so that it fits your brand better. And at the end here, it should show the your information will show up here and keep it branded to you.
Yep, and I think one of the cool things, if you download that, it's branded to you.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to an agent member with us. He uses those in the YouTube Shorts because there's such a short video.
Mm-hmm.
So they use them in YouTube Shorts, which is great. If you don't understand YouTube Shorts, it's kind of like the Instagram Reels, 30 seconds or less, but it's great for that. And he's got one for every month, and then he breaks out to the different areas that he works. And I looked at his YouTube channel. He's got probably 150 videos. All he did was do what you did and download it and upload on their side. So again, another way to get yourself out there. If you're looking to, kind of brand yourself and have information all done for you. I know a lot of people talk about the stats program. You got Damas Analytics. We had Market Links. We're looking at doing something additional. This is great.
Your next piece is branded infographics. There are a lot of options out here that you can steal. So you would first choose what type of category you're looking for, and then it's got the number next to it. So how many different options there are in here. So you've got buyer and seller tips, did you know, engagement posts. We'll go ahead and choose the Q&A, and you can see here there are all of these images to choose from. So we will just select one of these. And then you can choose if you want your photo and your logo added in there. The footer background, you can make it black or white. Create image, and instantly you have it here where you can download it. These ones do not save. It's the click of a button. You can access it easily, but you would just download it and you have this great social media infographic that you can use to post out wherever you need it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I go through and read it and know it. When people talk about posting on social, and there's realtors out there that are members. In fact, we have one at TechCon that does a really good job, and there's other industries, but what the key is consistency. And most people say, well, I don't look to post. You got a whole bunch of infographics, a whole bunch of video shots here, a bunch of things you can post right here.
So the next one is another option for your market stats. You would choose if you want the last 30 days or if you want the last full month. You can choose your area, your single family home or condo. If you wanted to put a link in here, we'll put the RPCRA site in there and create image. What that does, it makes the photo clickable. So if somebody were to click into this, if you put your website in there, it would lead them to your website or wherever. Maybe you create a landing page for it. But it creates a simple infographic for you. It puts your branding down here at the bottom. And this is kind of like what we see in the other programs we have. It's just a different layout. And if you're already using Agent3000 for everything else, it makes it a little easier, pulls it in here. But your two options, again, are going to be your last 30 days or the last full month of data that is available. And it usually takes, I think, 1 week for the data to pull in.
Mhm.
So you would see September's numbers like a week into October, once everything is closed out, so that you can go out there, get the new data and post that every month. All right, so your texting listing infographics are here. I don't think we have a saved one. Let me go out and grab an MLS number really quick so we can show you how that pulls in for you. We'll grab a brand new
The
listing.
internet's faster today.
It is. We'll grab this beautiful $870,000 home. I don't know whose listing it is, but they just got some free marketing there. So typing in the MLS number, you can see it pulls right in for a lot of the features here in Agent 3000. This is how pulling in the MLS listings work. You can go ahead and select the photo that you want to use. And then you can choose if you want to add a QR code, if you want to hide the address or the price for any reason, add an overlay text, we'll put just listed. Your information is going to pull in here and the background. You can go ahead and create this image. And now you've got this beautiful text code. It also has the QR code because we pulled that in there. And you can get leads via this text code. So you can post it out at social medias, you can put it in your email blast. I mean, get creative, put it wherever you need. But anybody who texts this, which I did not put the phone number in there, so it's not going to link to anything, but they would use this text code to produce a lead and get information on that property. And our next piece, as if there wasn't enough under branding, is the market trend graphs. So this is just another piece, right? We had the videos, we had the market snapshot, and then the graphs are going to be for your more like data analytical type people. So we will go ahead and use Cape Coral as an example again, single family homes. And then you can choose what data you want to look at. So before in the monthly market snapshot, you've only had 2 options. This, you're looking at all of those different options. So we'll do the top 20 selling communities. We'll do a bar graph. You can set the background if you want. They've got different images here, or you can upload your own. We'll use these beautiful palm trees. And then you've got a couple of different options here. You can create your image, and it's going to give you a graph that you can then use to post out in socials, send out in your e-blasts. And you don't have to put a photo back here if you don't like the way it looks. You can just go without one. Or again, upload your own. If you've got branding, you can put your face back there if you wanted to. But you've got a lot of different stats in here that you can choose. So you could make this into a month-long, post, do one each week or every couple of days, however you want to do it. There's plenty of material out here to really keep your socials busy all year long.
Yep. That's good.
All right, so leaving the brand and marketing tab, going into the Realty Biz card. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So one of the things that we used to have probably about 10 years ago, we used to have an e-card we gave every member, which is great. And a quick story, I was out having dinner, I was talking to somebody out of town, and they happen to be, they basically do party planning. It was a city I have a lot of friends in, and their business card was just this, was an e-card, right? So not everybody carries business cards with them. So get this set up. But this is basically going to be your name on there. You can call yourself, you have yourself a title. It's going to have your office number, your direct access. You're going to have pretty much all your information on social media. But you fill this out. So you do your photo on the background. You select an image there. Your Zillow reviews, great way for people to promote themselves. And then Google reviews, if you've got any of those, YouTube videos. If you've got that, your home finder icon, which would be your own IDX, go back to your website, everything on one spot. So if you fill this out and you have it, it actually is better than a business card, because most business cards end up getting washed in somebody's pants pocket, right? So this is a way to do it.
It gives you a QR code. So if you wanted to use that, print it out, put it, I don't know, I've seen people put stickers on the back of their phone. So when somebody asks for a business card, it's just like, hey, scan this, it'll bring them right to it. But you also have a link to your business card, which is up here at the top that you can customize. So if you wanted to just save that link and, if you're in the grocery line and somebody says, hey, you have a business card, no, but what's your number? I'll text you my business card. Then that way you also get their phone number at the same time. And you've got multiple options out here for templates. So this one is just one of the many. Go out there, pick which one you like, fill this out as well as you can. And then you can start utilizing it.
Yeah, it's a great thing to have all in one spot. There's a lot of Popple's one that comes to mind, does the same kind of thing. Popple's like $19 a month, right? So this is no cost to you.
Comes with it. And then you will also get reporting based on how many scans or clicks you got on that business card. So if you like print out the QR code, maybe you put it on your car if you're a good driver, and you get people scanning it, you can kind of keep track of how often people are using your business card on there. The QR code is also plugged in here, so you can grab the QR code right there, but then it plugs it into an email signature for you. So this QR code goes right to your business card, and then they've made it easy with a nice template there that you can plug into the bottom of your emails if you wanted people to use it. And there is a how to set that up right here at the bottom. And there are review buttons on those apps. So if somebody uses your business card to leave you a review, it's going to get logged right here so you can easily access those at any time. And if somebody messages you through your Realty business card, it is going to send you a notification, but then it'll also log it out here so that you can keep track of those. All right, open houses.
Oh, my favorite topic. All right, so you're going to be able to.
We'll plug it in.
Yeah, you want to plug that same one in? Okay,
Yep.
So we're just pulling that same MLS number. So you'll be able to put this together relatively quick. This pulls out the picture. You're going to select your date, your theme, required fields. So this is what you want the guest to actually provide you. So again, when you think about open houses, registry, you give a piece of paper and a pencil. People are putting Donald Duck, Donald Trump as their name. Most people will provide you good information electronically. So you put their information, working with an agent, you add your photo, your information there, your phone number if you want. You have groups up here.
Yeah, this is if you're signed up for the CRM. So we'll automatically, if you guys sign up for that like additional piece, it'll automatically feed it into the CRM. And then based on the rules that you set up for that CRM, it'll just
pull it
take
right
place.
Yeah. So this is all your information that's on there. Thank you, etc.
Yep, it's an automatic email that they will get. And you'll just click save here at the bottom. And then when you're ready to use any of the open house sheets that you've created, you can email the link if you need it on a different device. But if you're logged into that device, you can click here to open. And this would be the sign-in sheet that you could keep at your front door, whether you're using a tablet, a laptop, it's ready to go. They would fill out the information and click sign in here. It also puts a QR code here at the top for your business card. And once they have filled that out, you have all of your open house guests will be logged right here in one place to find it. Again, if you're using the upgraded CRM version, this plugs right into it. So you really can be hands off once you set it up. A lot of these features plug right into the CRM. So if people are using your business card or either using the landing pages, all those things will plug right into the CRM. But if you're not using the CRM upgrade, then you can simply come out here, grab the data and plug it into whatever CRM or program it is that you're using.
Yeah. I think the cool part about that is if you do have a stand for an iPad, an old iPad, I used to have electronic capture as well. People will give you, so the idea is they come in and put their information in. They're getting right to their mobile device, the listing. So there's no need to give somebody, the flyer for the property. The flyer is electronically submitted to them. And that's the power of it. And you're getting good data for these people coming into your open house that you can follow up with later and say, hey, you got a flyer on this house that we got listed as, you picked a house with 13,000 square feet. Does it fit your needs for $10 million? And then, you follow up on it. So I think it's a powerful tool to get good data. I remember back in the day putting out the old paper sheets and it was always bad information to follow up. I think when people are getting, they're going to put a good email, at least a good email in there
so that they can get
the information. So you at least have an email address.
Yeah.
People walk through your open house.
Yeah. All right, the next available piece on here is the net sheets, and you've got both seller net sheets and buyer net sheets. Again, you've got how-to videos up here at the top. I'm gonna enter in Jason today,
Wonderful, thank you.
and you are selling our lovely $870,000 home. Oh God, I don't know what the address is. Hibiscus Drive. So plugging in this information, obviously, if you're getting ready to do a seller net sheet, it's not listed on the MLS yet. If you started doing input, it is, but like if you needed to get rid of this part, you could. We're gonna keep it in there. But it's not gonna pull anything in from the MLS because this is pre-listing procedure. We can create this. It's just gonna plug that information in up here for you. And then it's gonna give you this workable sheet. So what sales price would you like to list your house at today, Mr. Jacobs?
Let's list it for 900.
Okay. Do you have a mortgage on the home?
No,
No? Do you have any HOA assessments, anything you'd like to fill in here?
no, I'm good
We
there.
got nothing.
Nothing.
All right.
Simple.
So you would work through this with your customer. We're not gonna fill out brokerage fees or anything like that. We can't type out 3 bananas in here. So you would fill this out and you can work through multiple options, right? They're like, well, I wanna list it for 900,000, but I really kind of would also go for 850,000. I would like $1 million. You can list those out, compare them side by side with each of these options. And down here at the bottom, once you work through everything, it's going to make those calculations for you. You can type out your name, their name, and then they can sign in this box. You see here, it gives you the cross. It's my beautiful signature. And you can
Right.
come through here and sign it. And it also has your branding here at the bottom.
Right, so you can use this for a couple things. Multiple offers, I think are
Yeah.
huge, right? Also, a seller net sheet, you should include into your listing presentation. You know, again, I'm not your broker, I'm not your therapist, I'm not your lawyer, but those who've been in class with me, you get that. But I think the important piece is now with the NER changes, to be able to show them what that's going to be with compensation being asked for, especially if they're not doing a co-broke, having to sell a net sheet is gonna be huge. You know, and I think that when you go do your presentation to your seller, and you meet with them, you're gonna have the contract, you're gonna have a request for compensation along with that, and you should have that seller net sheet when that offer comes in. So.
Yep, and just to give you guys a quick look at the buyer sheet, it works very similar. And it will do those calculations for you. Obviously different lines, they're looking at different options. And then they can sign it here at the bottom as well. Once you click save down there at the bottom, they will show up here, just like we have down here at the seller net sheet section.
Maybe we've done a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we did landing pages already.
All right, there are a lot of social media tools. So first and foremost, they've got tutorials out here. So he will walk you through how to boost your post. You've got several ads manager videos. This is all just resources for you, so that when you're using any of the materials up here above, it walks you through how to properly use Facebook. This is a super simple tool that will take a screenshot of your website and create it into a URL. So we'll plug in our PCRA. You can add in an overlay here that says click to view, and you can also rotate it if you need to. So we'll select both of those options so you see what they look like. And the whole point behind this is if you need it for like social media, maybe you need it for your email, you're trying to like get people to go out to your website. If you have a landing page for a specific home, you can say, hey, go out, visit this website for more information. And it's like an exact screenshot of that property. It's taking a little bit longer than normal, but all it's doing is giving you a ping screenshot of that website. And obviously if you've got Windows or you got Mac, you can like do a screenshot,
right.
But it comes out really pixelated. What I found with this is it's a lot clearer. So we put this overlay on here. We rotate it at 30 degrees. It says click to view. If you don't want that on there and you just want the image, you can, but just a super simple tool to grab a screenshot of your website that's not pixelated.
Yeah, I love that tool.
All right, listing collage post is as simple as it says. It'll pull in all of the listing photos, and I'm accepting the terms because it's not my property. And then we can choose out all of the photos that we want simply by dragging and dropping them where we want it. And I might be grabbing a lot of similar pictures. After grabbing the pictures that you want, you can click create collage and you've got a JPEG here, and that's all it does. It creates a simple collage for you for your socials.
Right. But I think the cool thing with this is, you know, you hire a professional photographer, goes out and takes your pictures, sends it to you through a zip file. You download them to your desktop, your laptop, or whatever. You typically don't have those on your phone. My phone's got apps that will do this, but now I got to transfer the pictures over. So this is pulling it directly out of MLS. You saw on 5 grab and drag, you just pulled it in. So very simple.
Social media memes. I don't think they get corny after your jokes.
Who loves a good social media meme? I mean, come on.
Yeah, so you can also plug a link in here and it'll make these photos links. So if you want to link it back to your website or a single property landing page, it will do that, or you can just use these as is. You
And
can
that's
hear
super cool.
the lovely police outside coming for Jason.
That's a firefighter.
Oh.
That's a fire.
So you can open these up and click through them and see if there's any that fit your needs. And they're just there for you to use, plug out into social media. Maybe you want to send out a meme in your email.
Yeah, by the way, I love this stuff because you always fight for traffic on websites to get your websites promoted. So if it's a clickable picture that you're putting in social media, it takes you right back to the website. That drives that traction you want.
Yep. So then you have the option that says My Memes and Meme Generator. I'm going to hop down to Meme Generator first. You can generate your own memes and then it'll save in here under My Memes. There are a lot of options out here. The background photo is a lot of the images that you saw. It might not load while we're zooming at the same time. But a lot of the images that you saw in the library are in there, or if you wanted to upload your own, you can plug in text and fonts over it, add clip art. I think we've created some before. So this is Pass the Real Estate Exam, only learn how to stay out of jail. So these are different ones that we created with the classes before, but you can create your own if you've got some good real estate jokes. I don't even know what this one says. This could be you, but you stay renting instead. These are all suggestions from the in-person classes.
Oh, nice.
So just a lot more social media tools that you've got here and material to put out there. Reports. We are flying through this stuff. All right, so this would be agent ranking so that you can look into your own stats. You can't look into anybody else's. You can just look into yours and you can pull different reports. I don't think it might let me pull multiple. I'll give it a try.
No.
But what you can do is you can come out here, you can choose. No, it does.
Oh, look at that.
It shows me, but
Oh,
I've got
sales.
none. So again, you can only pull your own numbers, but if you wanted to get specific and just pull what you've done in Cape Coral, maybe you're looking at a specific county or area, you can do that. You can pull everything overall and it'll give you your ranking within our MLS, your name, your information, and your total sites.
16,008.
I know, I'm
Okay.
really up there.
You're fantastic.
But if you're looking for hard data to be able to share out with people, you're looking for your own numbers and you don't want to go out and do the math inside a matrix, that's there for you. There is agent reporting inside a matrix as well, but this is just a nice, easy way to grab the data.
Yep.
All right, production stats. This will, and I think we can just pull all of it at once. This will also do, no, to choose one.
Agent statuses. So
We'll do sold. So this will also give you a rundown in a different view of your own stats. And you can choose out pendings, terminated. I don't know if you would really want to brag on your terminated and canceled, but you've got all the different statuses out here. And you can break it down by different property types, different timelines and cities, and get that report on yourself as well.
yeah, this is good for niches, different areas, right?
Working in a specific community.
Yeah.
All right, area sales comparison report. We will plug in residential. So you can have specifics for waterfront, and then you would select your area. So we'll do Gateway. And you can put in multiple communities here if you wanted to. And then this is going to give you the report for that whole community. So this is not just about your production. This is that whole community, or you could do it by zip code, city, MLS areas, and pull a hard data on those specific communities. We've got a lot of people that will call in about the communities they're in, trying to pull that hard data because they're out there, they're in MLS, and they're doing the math themselves. If you come out here, you just get this nice little report, and it's something that you can plug in somewhere. I know it doesn't look pretty, but it is the hard data for you. And then absorption rates. I know you get this call a lot.
I do.
So we'll go down to residential, maybe. Oh no, we've got single family. So it breaks it down further than the other types do. So you can add in single family, condos, townhouses, manufactured, whatever it is that you might be working. We'll do waterfront, Cape Coral. And then it gives us the absorption rate. It gives you all the data that pulls into that algorithm as well. And then it'll spit out that absorption rate right there at the end. Flyers. You want to take
Yep,
flyers?
more marketing. There's plenty here.
So
So
several options.
yeah, you got a lot of options in here.
Photo.
And what I tell you to do is play around with it and see what works for you. But this is pretty cool because in one spot you can actually have, you put the address on there. You'll be able to pull pictures directly from the MLS. And then the cool thing is you can actually add in the hex codes down here, the background color, advanced text colors, and all that. So background color, that's a hex code. So typically branding manuals will have what that is for your brand. So if you got a specific brand, if you're with a real estate company that's got a specific hex code, you keep it in alignment with your brand standards. And then amenities are all listed there. It's a great way. You can go in there and modify the remarks if you'd like to. And then you just create your PDF or JPEG to post.
Yep.
So it's a great way to, there you go. There's your flyer. All the information on it. So again, one picture, 10 pictures, you got choices. But it's a great way to get, open house, just listed flyers ready at a couple clicks. I like the fact, again, it's integrated, it's pulling the description, you're not starting from scratch. Everything's in one spot. You're pulling direct data from the MLS.
All right, single property websites. These are landing pages specifically for properties. And again, you can use ones as long as you have permission that aren't yours if you accept the terms. And then it'll pull in here several different templates. So you can go ahead and preview them. Then you can copy the URL and use these as needed. We'll view one of the templates so you can kind of see what they look like. So even if you don't have the upgraded website with Agent 3000 and have your own landing pages, you could come out here and grab a website or branding on here along with all of the information that's pulled into from the MLS. And then it will also have this send message button so you can create leads as well. You can use this to post out on your social medias. You can link them in your emails. There's lots of different ways that you can use these, but there's, again, several different templates here, and you can use every template with the address or without the address. Craigslist. When's the last time you used Craigslist?
I can't remember.
I had somebody in a class tell me they use this option. So if you wanted to do a Craigslist posting for a property, what this does is it pulls in all the information from the MLS and it creates a Craigslist ad for you. So you can do a summary ad or a detailed ad and it'll give you the HTML code. You plug that into Craigslist and it'll post it out there for you.
Interesting.
Yeah. QR codes. So we've seen throughout several of the tools here that they've got QR code integrations. But then you have here where you can do a listing QR code. It will bring you right to a landing page for a listing. your virtual card, so it will plug in all of this information into their phone. You can do it for any URL you please. So maybe you need a QR code for your personal website, or maybe for a resource, anything you might think of, it'll get you a QR code. Or if you just want it to give a text message, not a text message, but a message via text, so it'll pop open and make it searchable. You can do that as well. And then sign writers, it's like the tools just go on and on and on.
It does. I think it's been 3 hours of these. So again, you put the MLS number in, again, your background hex code, so you can do a brand specific. And it will match your branding. You do 18x6 or 24x6, and add a QR code if you like. So again, you create your PDF, and that's your listing writer. Pretty simple.
Easy peasy, but you get a text code and a QR code for free.
Yeah, great way to grab
works.
leads.
Mhm.
People drive around to yards and stuff like that, around streets.
And then once people use that, it'll track it here for you. So anytime somebody scans it, tap or use the text code, it'll log it here so that you'll have instant leads.
Yep.
And last but certainly not least is a lot more data here for you. There are several different graphs that you can create, and this is based on market data. So we've had classes before that I think a lot of you guys have been in with Domus Analytics, Sun Stats. You can pull markets and market stats and matrix. However, Agent 3000 has all of these options as well. So I encourage you to go out there and play around with it. If you've got people who are really analytical, they've got the scatter plot graphs, they've got line graphs, and you can pull it based on certain data, days on market, maybe it's pricing statistics. There's all kinds of stuff out here that you can pull, and you can really filter it down into specific types of properties and areas, and it'll spit out graphs for you. They come in PDF and JPEG for you to use, whether it's, putting it into a report when you're going to go sit down with a seller, or maybe you're putting it out there on social media.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff. So our job is provide tools and things to help you make your business easier, give you multiple places to get really good stat information on however you want to use it in your business. So,
but that is every single tool inside of the ML or inside of Agent 3000 in less than an hour.
Yeah, excellent. So is there any questions we have?
I don't think so. If you guys have any questions, you can type them real quick in the Q&A box.
Try to answer it maybe we can in a couple of minutes, but yeah, we encourage you to use it, play with it, watch the videos. Agents that are using this was Agent 3000 was the #1 used tool in the Miami associations.
Wow.
They won awards 3 years in a row of being the #1 tool used. So kind of a cool thing. For us, it's in the top 5. So play around with it. A lot of stuff that doesn't cost you anything to use. And valuable tools. Do you do nothing else? Get your e-card. Seriously. Never be without a business card.
No. All right, well, I don't see that we have any questions, but if you guys start playing around with this and you feel that you're stuck, they have their contact information at the top, but you can also contact us here at the MLS. You can call in or you can email us mls@rpcra.org, and we'll be able to help you through that. In the meantime, though, I think you covered it all.
All right, fantastic.
Awesome. You guys have a great day, and we will see you next Monday.